Greetings everyone, I hope you're doing great and are taking good care of yourselves. Welcome to this video. In this one, I am just here chilling under a tree, but I'm going to be answering a question that I've got from LinkedIn. Someone reached out to me on LinkedIn and asked the question of how they should find open source projects to contribute to as a person who is, I think, in their early career. And honestly speaking, first of all, I am not the best person to ask about a programming career or a tech career and how it should be. As much as I may seem to know a lot of stuff or seem to be a person who is making videos about all these technologies, I do not have as much experience to advise anyone on their career and what I think their career should be. Another thing is I have an imperfect software engineering career. I feel like an imposter most of the times, and I feel every time someone asks me a question about how they should go about their software engineering career, they are doing a very big mistake because there's no such thing as an answer I can give them except that which I know from my own personal experiences. With that out of the way, I'll tell you guys about the question that I got from that brother. So the question was about how he needed to contribute to open source, but I think the major motivation for that was because of wanting to get a job or wanting to be part of open source to make himself some opportunities in the future. Thinking about it, I gave him a response, and that's exactly what I'm going to be discussing in detail. So my response was about how he should find projects that he is passionate about. These can be from the software he uses on a daily basis, the programming language he uses on a daily basis, to the text editor, the video player, and some other software he uses on a daily basis that is free and open source. I told him that he should find himself contributing to projects because he's somehow passionate about the projects, not because there is some bit of opportunity to contribute to these projects. And you guys may judge me for being a little bit of a gatekeeper because we live in a society where everything is about money. And if you do not have a reason to do something or perform an action when you're not paid, then there is no other reason as to why you should not do that, which I kind of disagree with. Because if you to think about it, most of the software that we use, most of the cool technologies that we are using on a daily basis, it's free software. If you think of the Linux kernel, it is free software that is open source, that is run by people who are in it because they are highly motivated to be part of the project. It's not mostly about the money. Of course, the money is there, but there is a purpose to the projects that is beyond just making money. And I feel like that's what we lack as software engineers. To be honest, I do not contribute to open source that much. I do not think of myself as an open source contributor, at least in the ways where I submit code and then that code gets matched to a branch so that I make updates to an open source project. I feel I sometimes get to contribute on these projects in small ways that may be important. For example, if I notice a bug in a project I'm really invested in, then I can make an issue trying to show the exact bug or trying to notify the contributors on what exactly goes wrong with the framework or with the library or with the tool that I'm using. So there are very many ways to contribute to open source that are not even just centered around writing code and making patches or pull requests or whatever you want to call it. There are very many people out there who are successful doing open source, and I've got some opportunities to talk to some few, and there's this one pattern I've realized that most of those people are into open source development or open source contribution simply because they have a reason to contribute to open source, a reason that is not as obvious as making money out of it. Most of these guys have been contributing to open source even before it was some way for them to become rich or make some money doing it. So I highly disagree with the idea that contributing to open source is the best way in which beginners can prove themselves worthy of getting jobs, most especially if it's the only way. Here in Uganda, there are programs like Outreach and programs like Google Summer of Code, where people get to have internships in these open source projects or open source organizations, and they get to contribute to open source with very nice stipends, very nice financial rewards at the end of it all. And what hurts me and what I highly disagree with is the fact that a lot of people get to tell others that they have to be part of such things simply because of the stipends that are involved. Yes, the stipends are attractive, and it is very good to have in your LinkedIn profile that you are an ex Google Summer of Code intern. But what's the point in applying? What's the point in busting your ass? What's the point in trying to write the most interesting application letter to these internships if you are not that interested in open source? I know that kind of feels gatekeepy in this generation where everything is all about the money. And in Uganda here, we are all people who come from backgrounds where money isn't the most obvious thing. So thinking that way kind of makes you judged by most Ugandans. But I honestly do not know why I would put in so much effort into open source projects. Because in open source, most people who are working on the best open source projects out there are not even doing it for the money. They are doing it because they love what they are doing. They are doing it and they are pushing code because they are passionate about what they are doing. And in the end, we get to then understand that these guys are now earning, or these guys have earned recognition and fame and most of the benefits that come with working on these open source projects. I'll give you an example. One of my best open source contributors right now, my favorite open source contributor right now, the person that I look up to and the person that I wish to be as a software engineer, is Ivan New, the creator of the Vue.js framework. Whenever this guy brings up the story of how he created Vue.js, he talks about it like his little passion project that then turned into something that he could make money from. And if you're to look at Vue.js, this is a project that is not backed by big corporations. What backs up Vue.js is the people who are passionate JavaScript developers who are stuck onto the project, who get to commit to the project, who get to submit patches, who get to contribute all these nice resources, who get to create great tooling around the project itself. And that's what I think open source should be like. So the idea of people joining open source simply because there are opportunities for them to enrich themselves doesn't really make sense to me, and I wouldn't really advise someone to start their career trying to contribute to open source if that's the main goal. Right now, if I were to advise someone to contribute to open source, I would tell them to find projects they are passionate about. These can be projects they use daily or projects and frameworks they get to choose on certain projects. And once they choose those projects, then they can at least find ways of being more involved in the projects. That can be finding issues on GitHub, engaging in discussions around the framework or the library on GitHub, submitting pull requests. That's if they are competent in their programming and can contribute code to the project. They can write documentation about the projects they are interested in. I will be honest with you guys, the reason as to why I create all this fast API content is not because I am looking for the money, but it's because this fast API framework was a framework that I tried when I was at university, and I enjoyed it and I liked it, and I was like, this is a tool that is useful. This is a tool that is going to become successful. And I didn't know so much about web development even, but I tried to find different ways I could contribute, and I couldn't contribute any way in the writing code sense of it. The only way I could contribute is through making videos where maybe I try to talk about a framework, how to use a framework and the different features this framework can do, maybe how you can build projects around the framework. So anyway, I'm going to be ending this video here, but if you've liked this video and have liked all the episodes of what I'm calling the Sally Jonathan Show, please leave a like. That's the only way you can help me without funding me financially. If you can fund me financially and support my work, please check out the links down in the description to my Patreon, to my Buy Me a Coffee link. You can even become a member of this channel for less than $5. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please click the subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel if you find this content helpful. If you watch this, I'll be in Arua tomorrow, or I will set off to go to Arua tomorrow because there is a program for educating people about programming, and I'll be introducing people to the Django REST framework. I am really so interested and so excited about this opportunity I've been given. So I'll be traveling tomorrow morning. Arua is in northwestern Uganda and it's a very, very far place, so I will be moving in the night. But I hope to share my experience there, and yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.